It's Talking Reds. Just be careful today, just right up the front, about commenting on the Hillsborough trials or anything like that. We all do not want this to be jeopardised, so this is just right up the front, us saying, please don't do that. I'm Neil Atkinson, this is Rob Gutmann, and we're off the back of Brighton. Did you like Brighton?
I love Brighton, love it every time I've been.
It's the business.
Yeah, I've been going to Brighton a lot since the 80s. Got a friend down at uni there, and I went to the old Goldstone ground, which I don't remember where it was now, but it's not as fucking miles outside the city as that current ground. That ground isn't in Brighton, it's in South London.
But it's managed to find the sort of, it's a love. I want to have a walk in the surrounding, the environs of the Amex. Amex.
Yeah, we as we approached it in Paul Senior's car, we were looking for parking. This is difficult. Eventually we found top field and just put it by a pond on a field, and it worked out for the best.
Yeah.
Nobody thought to tow us. So thank you, local authorities. But yeah, it was good. Everything worked out well. And actually, you know, every away ground you ever arrive at, from wherever you've decided to sort of park your car, or station you've arrived at, you'll approach the ground, you go, we're at the ground. And they'll say, where's the away end, please, to the steward? And it's always the absolute polar opposite.
Yeah.
Brighton, all the approach you could make was our end. There it is. In you go, in the ground. It was great. Everything worked well.
The booze is good in the ground, the food's good in the ground,
yes.
Everything rocks and rolls in the ground. Brighton knows what it's doing, both in the city and in the ground.
Yes, it's a really good city.
It's good job they're going to stay up, isn't it?
It's a really good job. They're perfectly safe now, aren't they, more or less?
Pretty much. And they're a good side, which I think we actually saw when I was looking into it for all the shows we're doing today. So we're doing the review and we're doing the Anfield wrap. That will be available for you today. When I was looking into it, one of the things that came out of it was they've only been beaten since they've come up 7 times at home.
Yeah.
To contextualise that, Everton are on 8 and Spurs are on 6. So that, really tells the story of, firstly, how good they are on their own turf, but secondly, I think how well Liverpool did across the course of the 90 minutes to not just beat them, but to restrict them to no shots on target. And in the cold light of day, Rob, no real threat.
Yeah, well, the last 6 at home even this season, they've won 3, drawn 2, lost 1. People aren't winning there, and they don't concede goals at home, and it was the same last season. People take for granted that, that 5-1 victory, I think, was one of our best performances of last season. That's because they're quite good, and what they are, actually, they don't offer a huge threat going forward, that has to be said, hence the no shots, but they're very, very well organised, which enormous credit to Chris Hughton. He knows what he's doing in that respect. He's compressed the spaces brilliantly. Last season, we get a goal after about 15-20 from a set piece, and that opens the game up.
Yeah, we scored another one quick, and suddenly they're a bit discombobulated by events.
They don't know which way are they going to stick or twist. And this at half time, it was playing out. It was playing out for them. But I was talking to Adam Mealy in the concourse. I was distressed, thinking, we're 45 minutes away from serious disappointment, disproportional disappointment here. But at the same time, I said to myself, and it transpired, it's the same at Watford, it was the same at Burnley. And I know this is a motif you want to talk about, is control of football matches. Yeah. Liverpool, Klopp and this team realised one thing. However tight a match is in the first 45 minutes, it will be X% less tight in a second, simply because of tiring limbs, and we exploit that ruthlessly every time.
We do. Just want to talk about 2 or 3 of the performances. Fabinho, I thought, was excellent. If Joel Matip whacks that in, literally does all the same things. We're saying after the fact, he's had a really good game there, Joel Matip. So it's worth pointing out that that's the first time Fabinho's played central defence for Liverpool in a league game. Obviously, he does it at Wolves, but it's all quite different. I thought he was just really, really tidy. Yeah,
he just looked the part. His physicality was right. He looked like a Van Dijk apprentice. If he'd be a new centre-back signing, you'd be very, very effusive about it. Although I thought he was outstanding, it whetted my appetite more for seeing him 10 yards further forward, because I know you have a slightly different view on me on this, but although I think Wijnaldum and Henderson did well overall, I think if he'd been with either one of them, that midfield would have looked great. Let's put it this way, I'd like Gomez where he was, and I've liked him in the 2, and I think we'd have been a small percentage better.
Don't you think that there's a part of the approach, I think, from Van Dijk and Henderson, also with the thing around Trent as well, first half?
Yes, yeah.
Where I think that's one of the reasons why I think Liverpool are just all about control in that first 45 minutes. They really are about sort of not even playing the way in, but just keeping Brighton absolutely at arm's length and setting that tone. That's what I think you see there from, as I say, Van Dijk and Henderson. The passing numbers are all strikingly similar for the 3 of them. That's one of my things from this. I think that the bits and pieces, even the way they give the ball away, the three of them, is forcing it by long balls over the top to try to get someone in occasionally. They're all playing the same ball to try to turn Brighton round and force them back and create a bit more space and stretch the blanket. I think it's really interesting. I think that was the plan from the manager. We don't like it. I didn't like it first half. I was like, I'd really like to be 2-0 up, please. Can we arrange being 2-0 up so this is fun? But I just thought that was their plan, and in the end, I think that the manager could sit there and say, well, we executed that.
Yeah, in a way, the template is how you play away from home in Europe to win European Cups, two-legged football. I mean, a lot of the received wisdom is that you go there and you blanket and absorb the pressure. But the other way of doing it is to do what we did there, which is to go and control a football match in a sterile way. Just make sure that you break their spirit that way. You kill the crowd. I know it's not exactly a vociferous crowd in Turkey, for example, but still, it's a compact little stadium, and when they get boisterous, they do. So you kill the crowd by doing that. You also establish where the game's going. You make it very clear to the home side that they are not going to be an attacking force in this game. This isn't a game of attack against defence. That was established in that first half. And although, funnily enough, when you listen to what people say after the game, Mr. Phil Blundell in the post-match goes, that was a match where nothing happened. Liverpool scored a goal and nothing else happened. But if you watch it back, Liverpool don't have periods where we are besieging the goal, but we do create a quietly significant amount of chances. I said to after watching it back to Paul Senior yesterday, I said, that's not a 1-0 game, you know.
No,
that's
not.
Deceptive. That's a quiet 2 or 3-0, very, very solid away performance. It's being pitched as a 1-0 to the Liverpool kind of thing, and so that's a thing we have become, like the Arsenal side of the late 80s, early 90s. I don't think that's quite the case.
I don't think that's the case either. I think you see that in, for instance, Salah misses a really good chance. Where he could just force it into the back of the net. I think that you see a couple of times Mane doesn't quite sort of. I think Mane of the front three is the one who maybe has the thing that's closest to an off day. And there's a couple of times you wish you'd do something a little bit differently. But they can rely on the fact that they've got complete control of the game. And I can see why complete control of the game and not creating chance after chance and not even looking like you're desperate to create chance after chance can be frustrating for people. But I really do think that they were a lot closer to what the manager wanted than what I would have wanted as a supporter who was completely emotionally invested, especially in that first half. I think they're closer to his interpretation of what he wants than I would be, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think they're relaxed with this Liverpool team, with creating a good chance, passing them by, and then not being upset if it takes another 10 minutes for the next one to come along, or even 15 minutes. So that first half, there's not much created, but we create very nearly an open goal. I think it's for Firmino, a whipped cross by Andy Robertson from the left, obviously. Firmino's a toe's length away, and it's a great goal, and it is a chance. Then a cross is put on Shaqiri's head, probably 15 minutes after that.
Yep.
And it's a great chance. And then if you look at the pattern again, just after half time, we get the chance and the goal. But then there's continuing chances. I mean, there's Mane's one where he's away and gets blocked. Salah's away in the left wing position and it gets saved. Or Wijnaldum whips one by this. And then there's the Mane open goal. We're getting in behind and the chances are coming, but they're never like 3 and 5 minutes.
Yep.
There's a spacing, and that just shows such calmness.
I think they're calmer than we are.
Well, yeah, that's not a hard ask though. We're all over the fucking place. I don't care. I know we should be confident, whatever. It just means too much. This.
Do you feel as though as soon as it went 1-0, I went from being a bag of nerves to it goes 1-0, and I'm suddenly like I am now at peace. I was in a state of grace, I'm sort of carrying that into Crystal Palace. I'm pretty relaxed now about Crystal Palace in that I feel as though they'll find a way there. I'm even pretty relaxed against Leicester, which is a mad distance to look ahead now because it's about 17 days. It's only really sort of West Ham away. I'll probably get myself a bit nervy beforehand again. But I really am sort of at the point now where I trust these lads. I trust Fabinho wherever he puts them on the pitch. I trust Henderson. I trust Van Dijk. I think that's the main thing, and that's why I think people who are sort of criticising, I've seen some people criticise Fabinho's performance, which was crazy. Some people are criticising Henderson's performance. My thing is how much do you trust them? And that's currently where I am. And when you watch that sort of game back, I'm like, we should never not trust them, if you see what I mean, at this stage of proceedings. They've offered no reason to have us not trust them, almost any of them. There's no reason. They're not letting the manager down, they're not letting us down. At times, I'd like them to do different things. I'd like them to maybe be a bit more progressive. But really, these are solid men making solid decisions.
Yeah, I felt at 1-0 we'd won it. I celebrated that goal. I was saying to Adam Amelia is in the ground afterwards. We were counselling each other at half time because we were genuinely fretful then. Just because time passes, not because we didn't trust actually. And But 1-0, I celebrated like it was the final whistle, not the final penalty in Istanbul. Honestly, we went mad in that crowd. Because I think everyone knew at that moment, that's all we needed. That's all we needed. The one goal was going to do it for us.
You can trust them, and I think that's a big thing. I think that, for instance, we've been talking a fair bit about Keita in the last few weeks, but I'm sort of with the view, they've dropped 9 points. But 22 games in and they've dropped 9 points. And while I wish a fair few of them were at times doing things differently, I really do, I'd love to see sort of Liverpool just, as you're sort of trying to say, wave after wave after wave. But there's a flip side to this, which is that basically almost any of these lads who started more than 5 Premier League games, even Keita, who I thought really struggled in his little appearance at the end of the game, but they've been doing the business for us. This is, these are the boys who have got us to where we are, and you can always improve one way or another, but these are our lads.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to them having faith and they're just being calm about it. They are all up a level in performance now. The Wijnaldum of this season isn't the Wijnaldum of past seasons. I think Milner's better again. I think Henderson's, he is mature, showing increasing maturity. We've talked about this on other shows. Van Dijk was great last season. He's much better now.
Yeah.
And there's a thing, I think it's the CIS Football Observatory did a valuation thing. Did you see this?
No.
World's 2 most valuable fullbacks are Trent Alexander and Andy Robertson in the world. Obviously, it takes into account things like ages, so they're going to price better than Marcelo, for example. But there you go.
I think whole wide
then they value Trent at 117 million and Andy Robertson at 77 million. I think FSG would consider him the greatest deal in football history.
I love the idea, by the way, of that turning up at their contract renewals with their agents. Have a look at that, please, gents. Go from there. You're doing the gutter today?
I am, yes, and every day. No, not every day, but yes, I am doing the gutter.
You're doing the gutter?
Talk about players Liverpool might sign. Actually, we talk about players Liverpool might sell and whether they should sell. I actually want to also do something about just check on Liverpool's transfer business from the summer. We're often very keen of looking ahead at who we're going to buy, but do we stop and take check of the thing as a body of work? I want to go into that, so that should be fun.
That should be fun. We've got the Anfield wrap. Rob's doing that as well, working him very hard today doing this, and then in an hour's time I'm doing the review with Sean Rogers. So Anfield wrap now, then review, then gutter. Everybody's working away, beavering away. £5 a month to subscribe to the Anfield wrap. That's only £5 a month. theanfieldwrap.com/subscribe for that. Get yourself in, be part of this. Trust our lads. They are. If anyone is going to do it for us, it's going to be these boys. See you in a bit.